My name's Desmond Waters. I'm delighted to be here tonight with all you fine folks. I'm here to talk about Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. It is a national chain a franchise that started a couple of years ago. It's been very positive with positive results. I'm Desmond Waters. I'm a pharmacist. I've spent my most, if not all of my career in healthcare, hospital pharmacy. Eventually moved up to a um, director of pharmacy, administrator of a small to mid-size hospital system in the Midwest. I've always had an interest in health and wellness, but really didn't take it that serious. So over the last several years, towards the end of me leaving the hospital setting, I became very interested in IV hydration, wellness, vitamins, minerals, NAD, peptides, hormone replacement therapy, and really just, as a pharmacist, surprisingly, we don't know as much, or we're not taught as much about vitamins and minerals and amino acids. So we do have a extensive chemistry, biochemistry um, background that we are versed in that. It's just we're more participated in the synthetic, or the man-made drugs that we all know so well. So over the years, as a pharmacist, my role was always to, help people get them really off of medications. Believe it or not, most people think pharmacists are there to give medications, and yes, we are, and we're to do that to make people health and safe and effective, and minimize side effects. But as my career progressed, I really saw, you know, a, I'd say a proliferation of medications and prescribing, and at times prescribing medications for other medications, side effects, and so it became really imperative as a pharmacist, I really was looking for a health and wellness, getting people off of those therapies as safely and effectively as I can. And so that brought me to the more and more I discuss, um, the more and more I learned and looked into it, I realized, there is I would say an adjunct, not so much an alternative, but an adjunct to, traditional medicine, which would be, your IV minerals, amino acids. And so Prime IV really interests me very much. My wife, who's a nurse, is an infection preventionist, a pediatric nurse, also worked at a very large health system, became interested in learning more about the health and wellness of IV hydration. So we embarked on Prime IV. We opened up our first Prime IV here um, uh, last year. Actually, it's been a year to date. And honestly, we've just over the last year have really experienced just a positive growth with our clients, our neighbors, and our colleagues and friends and family. And so what we provide here is just that. We do IV hydration and NAD plus therapy, peptide therapy, and soon to embark on um, bioidentical hormone replacement. So, kind of talk about the first piece of that is IV hydration. Most people kind of associate that with the hangover bag. Though we do have that, it's actually a very small piece of what we do. Typically, I would say, our demographics really crosses many generations and many groups of people. Typically, it's your hardworking people who are working, stressed families. Sometimes long hours at work. They're not getting their vitamins and minerals, and so to really be diligent, you need to take your oral medications, vitamins and whatnot daily. And the reason you need to take vitamins orally daily is because of what they call a first pass metabolism. And so the body will actually metabolize what you take orally um, first. And at times it'll actually metabolize and be excreted through the body completely unchanged. So essentially, you're really getting none of the benefit. And that's true to medicine as well as vitamins. And so much of what you take orally is actually excreted unchanged. And so you need to take it often and you need to take a good amount of it. You also need to get a good brand. And so I myself was not very good at taking vitamins on a consistent basis. Taking the right vitamins, I found it was a bit pricey for me to do that, to find a good brand, and so I again jumped into Prime IV with that mindset that others may be struggling with it. And so what you do is you come into our facility. We have a doctor on staff. We have nurses who insert the IV. And so your first step would be to take and do a wellness intake form, a digital wellness form that you will fill out all of your medical history, medications, allergies, really kind of an extensive um, overview of your kind of your medical history and why you're here and what are you looking to gain and what are you hoping to get by it. And so then we sit down, you'll get a consultation from a qualified intake specialist who will sit with you and go through the drips. We have essentially three levels of drips. The first drip is what we call the primary drip. And that is it has a liter of fluid, and in it you can pick one of the additives. And one of them is um, we kind of label them as a different name um, that you can call what we would say the energy boost. And the energy boost is B12, and we carry methylated methylcobalamin B12. And so it's more natural, easier to absorb. And so you would get a bag of that. And then there's also the muscle recovery, which is an amino blend. It has 4 of our amino acids in it that is great for muscle recovery, muscle build. And so that would be something like your arginine, citrulline, lysine, proline. Then there's an option to do a B6, which is kind of a heart healthy bag. And then also the option of an anti-inflammatory, which is your magnesium. And so that's great for sleep, anti-inflammatory, aches and pains and whatnot. So then that's what we call our primary drip, and it's pretty reasonably priced. There's also what we would say a tier 1 drip, and those drips would be up to about 4 additives. One thing I should also mention, it's the experience of coming into Prime is more than just getting an IV and sitting in a chair and leaving. We really, when we go through the consult, we really want to get to know your history. Why are you here? What are you looking to achieve? You will get benefit out of that one bag for sure. You'll feel great. You will, what I mentioned is you'll sit in a very nice custom massage chair. You get a heated eye mask. It places that offer oxygen. You can have that. We have our infused water, hot and cold towels. So we really try to make this we call it the 1 hour vacation. And we really want people to come in and really take an hour to themselves or more. And so it's more than just getting an IV, and it's really looking to give you a long-term solution. Now, we do have many folks who come in and are just looking for, they're very dehydrated. They might be outside, people who have a vacation. We've had construction workers, people who are like, they may need 1 or 2 bags of a solution to get themselves hydrated. But most of the folks that come in here are looking for kind of an alternative to their current regimen of getting vitamins and minerals through their food or their vitamins. So back to the IVs. So the what we call the tier 1 bags, there is about 8 of those. And so those are all custom made here on site at all Prime IVs. And so they're made under a USP 797 hood and done by a certified health professional. And so those would be examples of those would be something called the Jet Setter down to the Weekend Warrior. And the Weekend Warrior really is more of it would have your 4 items in it. So like a energy, your B12, your amino acid blend, your anti-inflammatory mag, and then also our B complex. And our B complexes at our Prime IVs have about four additives in that exact complex. One is the thiamine, riboflavin, nicotinamide, pyridoxine, and dexpanathol. And so that is actually, even though it's considered one additive, it has all of those B vitamins in there. And so there's things from the skinny drip to the after party, which is your traditional after party bag of IV hydration. And they're very themed based. And so they really direct our clients and we direct them to what we would look at their intake. It's to see what they're looking, if they're really tired or achy or sore, or if people are looking for weight loss or whatnot, or energy. And so we kind of give them suggestions. And then there's our tier two drips. Those are our kind of our big drips. Those would all still all be in a liter of fluid. And it would be up to about 8 additives. And those would be what maybe many of us know to be the ones called the Myers cocktail. And the Myers cocktail has ascorbic acid, IV ascorbic acid. And as many of you know, ascorbic acid is a very, very strong, fantastic antioxidant. And when you hear the word antioxidant, people kind of it does get thrown around a lot. And I kind of put it as when your body breaks down, if it be age, fatigue, stress, work, sickness, illness, you get what we call this oxidative stress, or the body can have an influx or too much of what's called a free radical. And free radicals are good. They're actually used to carry things through the blood, but too much of it, and you can get into this oxidative stress. Well, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, is a great antioxidant to really help, recover those cells and help level the playing field, as I always like to say. And so it will have your vitamin C. It has calcium and magnesium. It also has the B6, the B12, the methylcobalamin, the B complex, and then a pretty nice large dose of dexpanathol. The dexpanathol is B5, and that's a great one for, it promotes your nervous system function, increases stress tolerance. It of course has many of these have dual mechanisms. So like B5 is also great for metabolism, carbohydrates, fats, and does promote heart health. B6 promotes heart health, also assists in sugar regulation. So many of these can have cross activity, but the focus of several of those are meant to be put in a drip that is specific to what we're trying to achieve. We then have drips that have a really large amount of antioxidants, and though it be a very large dose of vitamin C, and most of our vitamin C's are a greater between 4 to 6 grams of vitamin C. We have something called the immunity armor that also has vitamin C. It has magnesium. It has a double dose of B complex. It has a dose of B complex and a dose of zinc, sulfate, B12, B6 as well. And it also has glutathione. And glutathione is just a fantastic antioxidant. And it is something that's naturally occurs in us. And as humans, we produce our own glutathione. It's a very strong antioxidant, as I mentioned. It's one that works very well it basically helps recycle vitamin C, and it works as well as the oxidative stress. It's found in every cell of the body. Typically, around 40 years old or sooner, you start to deplete in glutathione. And so they consider it a non-essential because it's man-made. It's made by the body, but as you age, you actually start to deplete in that. And it is hard to get into foods. And so having glutathione supplemented, and you can do that through IVs that we have. So we have several formulations of glutathione you can get. It's in several of our bags. It's in the immunity. It's also in our glow, and can be added to any bag or any infusion. So sometimes people make it like a Myers and an immune and a glutathione. There's also something we have that's called the Beauty Boost, and it's 2 grams of glutathione. And so though it's great for that antioxidant effect, helping recycle the vitamin C and vitamin E's, it also helps with the aging process. And so many folks will take it for, excuse me, take it for wrinkles and hair and skin, and kind of just great for the skin. And so many folks will take a dose um, of Beauty Boost on top of that. And so those are our primary drips. Those are what we call our go-to drips that you can take and add to it. And so the great thing about the Prime IV model is that when you come in, we really tailor around you. So we don't have, though these may be standard drips per se, but they are all customizable. And so some folks will say, I don't really need, you know, zinc today. I'd like to get a double dose of B complex. And so because they're all made, we can accommodate those. And you find yourself, um, when you come in, you get your IV specialist who will help you, infusion specialists who will, hey, Desmond, how are you feeling? How'd your last trip go? Anything we can do differently? And so we really customize to all the clients that way. Everyone who comes in will then finally will go through their infusion. They'll get their IV put in by a licensed practitioner, nurse, or paramedic, depending on your state. These folks are highly qualified. Typically, for instance, for us, we call it a stick rate. It's got to be above a 90%. In other words, you can't have a miss. People really come in here to relax, and so you don't want to become a pincushion. So most these Prime IVs, all of them have a very, very high standard in how to stick a patient, as we say, stick. Um, because people aren't looking to get, they're not looking, looking to relax. And so because we have such a high quality of our professionals, we typically have folks who come in here who are traditionally very hard sticks. We actually have a lot of folks who would, when we came to the area here, we had a lot of folks who would traditionally go to an ER to get IV hydration. They may have some type of dehydration issue or vitamin deficiency, or maybe they're post-surgical or post bariatric or POTS illness or something. They would typically go to the ER, and they would spend 6 to 8 hours, get very limited hydration. Typically, it would just be saline, and some of them are very, very hard sticks. And so when we came present in the community, we found that folks really searched us out because we tend to get the best people to put the IVs in, and we're, you'll find that they can put IVs in very, very hard sticks. So I mention that because you really can't just work at a Prime IV as a nurse unless you're a top tier IV insertion specialist, I guess is the best way to put it. So then after that, you get to spend your hour in the chair. It's a very relaxing time. You then finish up, come out, and we kind of go over your digital wellness. And so we create a plan for you, and we go over, based on your intake of what you filled out during our consult. We kind of go through like what we would suggest as a plan if you were to come back and continue on with therapy. Um, so everyone gets their own digital plan. That digital plan can change, or that wellness plan can change. And then what we do is we kind of offer the drips and additives to the drips and things that we would suggest to maybe add additional or take away and replace. And we then have offerings so some folks, as cost is an issue, our drips can range from $90 to $160 for all of that's included. So we offer memberships, which is very popular. It's a great way to be consistent. It not only commits you, it commits us to you. And so we're very focused on, you're putting this is money that you're spending above and beyond anything else, and we take that very, very seriously. And so when you come in here, your experience is tailored to you. And so we want to make it a cost effective, highly valued service. And so we offer memberships that can last, typically a 6 month period. It's a great time for us to kind of evaluate, are we meeting your goals? Do we need to change anything? And during all of that, we offer other services. And so we also, here at this prime, we offer cryotherapy, which is your basically your nitrogen freeze tank. It's a great way. We have lots of folks who will get a drip, then they'll do their cryo. It's a 3 minute between -70 up to -240 degrees Fahrenheit. So cold, but it is so invigorating. It kind of basically jump starts the sympathetic system, your nerves, and it helps with the immunity boost. It helps with like fighting off illness as well as pains and aches. So it's a great way to kind of get the blood flowing after your infusion. And then we also offer peptides. We do weight loss peptides. We also offer some weight lifting like Sumorlin and whatnot that can help you build muscle mass for those folks who are working out. And we do offer all of the other services that we discussed. And so after that, um, we go over a plan and we find a way in which um, we could offer some cost-effective memberships. And so other things that so membership would really include all your IV hydration, your shots. And so we have shots from, all the way from vitamin D shots down to alpha lipoic acid to L-arginine to L-carnitine to lipoline. And so we then tailor all of those individual shots to you and what you're looking to do. But we also offer, as I mentioned, what's called NAD therapy. And NAD is, again, a natural coenzyme that we all have, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide plus, which means it's a positive charged molecule. That's simply, it's a part of the Krebs cycle, and it helps, essentially as we age. Again, all of these things are all natural. All of our compounds are all naturally sourced, and they're uh, used by us and by our bodies, and nothing is foreign per se. And so what happens again when you age, your NAD levels drop. We find that folks that have long-term SSRI, which is antidepressant usage, have a real low level of NAD plus, and sometimes it's a great way to help them get off of, or if they're just recently been off of SSRIs or antidepressants. It helps them kind of replenish and helps with the depression, also helps with energy, brain fog. Again, it has the same benefits as you would with anything else that you're depleted. And so that's something else we would offer um, is the NAD plus, as well as sometimes we have specific people who come in for, let's say, migraines, and so they have a history of migraines, and so we have a drip for that. It's called the Myers migraine, and so it has a different level of magnesium in it to help offset that migraine relief. We also do actually pregnant mothers who have morning sickness that can't keep fluids down, or it's great for us to help with that. And also just your standard, we live in an area that has lots of allergies and allergy seasons, and so lots of our drips, several of our drips are very effective for allergies and allergy relief. And so, like I said, it really isn't you come in, pick a drip, go back. We really sit with you and go through your history and why you're here, because one drip may not be it may not be your drip. You eventually find what's your go-to drip, and maybe you start to customize that drip. You may add biotin in place of zinc, or whatnot that you're looking for, and it becomes your drip. And so that's what I find so rewarding. And it's just a great feeling to watch people progress through this as members come in. They get better each month. They feel better, they're invigorated, they're losing weight, they're more active. It's just a great way um, to be involved in it. And so as a healthcare professional like myself, I'll be honest, I didn't see that as much as in my other angles. Is most of the time they were very sick people who seemed to stay sick. Here, people seem to get very healthy. they stay healthy, they want to get even more healthy. They then start to work out, they start to exercise, and we're there to help supplement that for them. And so, it's something that you could explore on your own and find a niche for you. Um, I obviously could talk about this for a long time, and I appreciate you allowing me the time to speak with you. And if you have any questions, you could always reach a primevhydration.com and find one in your area, or you can always reach out to Prime IV Hydration myself, and we'd be glad to direct or help you with any of your health and wellness needs. And again, I really appreciate you taking the time and allowing me to speak with you here today.